Hello friends, my name is Rupalia Prince. Yesterday our topic early. Yesterday our topic early stop. So continue there. Every group of people I ask think the world is a more frightening, more violent, and more helpless. In short, more dynamic, dramatic than it really is. Hence, Rosling wrote in his book Fact Funless when you realize how much progress human can make during a lifetime in everything from economic growth to medical break throat 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 throws to stock market gains to social equality. You would think optimism would gain more attention that pessimism, and yet in the intellectual allure 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 of pessimism has been known for age. John Stuart Mill wrote in the 1814s, 14th, 14th, I have observed that not the men who hope when others despair, but the men who despair is when other hope is admired by a large class of persons. As says the question is why and how does it impact how we think about money. Let's repeat the premise that no one is crazy. There are valid reasons why pessimism is seductive when dealing with money. It just helps to know what they are to ensure we don't take them too far. Part of it is in, instinctual and unavoidable. Kahneman says the asymmetric aversion to loss is an evolutionary evolutionary shield. He writes when directly she is directly compared or weights against each other, losses loom larger than gains. This asymmetry between the power of positive and negative expectation or expressions experiences has an evolutionary history. Organisms that threats as more urgent than opportunities have a better chance to survive and purpose. But a few other things make a financial pesi- pessimism is common and more per- persuasive than optimism. One is that money is ubiquitous, so something bad happening tends to affect everyone and capture everyone's attention. That isn't true of, say, whether a hurricane barreling down on Florida poses no direct risk to 92% of Americans, but a recession barreling, barreling down on the economic economy could impact every single person, including you. So pay attention. This goes for something as specific as the stock market. More than half of all American households holds directly own stock, even among those that don't. The stock market's guide gyrations are promoted so heavily in the media that the Dow Jones Industrial Average might be the stock less household holds most watch economic barometer stock resign 1% might be briefly mentioned in the evening news, but a 1% fall will be reported in bold all caps letter, usually written in blood red. The asymmetry is hard to avoid, and while few questions or try to explain why the market went up, isn't it supposed to go up? There is almost always an attempt to explain why it went down. Are investors worried about economic growth? Did the Fed screw things up again? Are politicians making bad decisions? Is there another choice to drop narrative about and frame a story around what you think will happen next? Usually more of the same. Even if you don't own stocks, those kind of things will be grab your attention. Only 2.5% of Americans own stock on the eve of the Great Crash of 1929 that sparked the Great Depression. But the majority of Americans, if not the world, watch in amazement as the market collapsed, wondering what is a single signal about their own fact. This was true whether you were a lawyer or a farmer or a car mechanic. Historian Eric Rauchway writes, these fall in value immediately applicated. Only a few Americans, but so closely had to other watched the market and regretted regarded it as an index of their fastest that they suddenly stop much of their economic activity. As the economist Joseph Schumpeter later wrote, people felt that the ground under their feet was giving way. There are two topics that will affect your life whether you are interested in them or not: money and health. While health issues tend to be individual, money issues are more systemic in a con- contacted system where one person's decisions can affect everyone else. It is understandable why financial risk gain spot, spotlight and capture attention in a way few other topic can. Another is that pessimists often extrapolate present trends without accounting for how markets adapt. In 2008 environmentalist letters Browns wrote by 2030 China would need 98 million barrels of oil a day. The world is currently producing 85 million bar- barrels a day and may never produce much more than that. There go the world's oil reserves. He's right, the world would run out of oil in that scenario, but that's not how market work. There is an iron law in economics: extremely good and extremely bad circumstances rarely stay that way for long, because supply and demand adapt in hard to predict ways. Consider what happened to oil immediately after Brown's prediction. Oil prices surged in 2008 as a growing global demand, much of it from China, crept up to potential output. A barrel of oil sold for $20 in 2001 and 138 by 2008. The new price meant drilling oil was like pulling gold out of the ground. The incentives for oil producer change dramatically. Hard to tap oil supplies that weren't brought the fight at 220 a barrel. The cost of drilling didn't offset the price you could sell it for, because the bonanza of a lifetime. Now that you could sell a bar, barrel for 138, that sparked a source of new fracking and horizontal drilling technologies, the Earth has had thoroughly the same amount of oil reserves for all of human history, and we have nowhere the big oil deposits are for some time. What changes is the technology we have that lets us lets us economically pull the stuff off the ground. Oil historian Daniel Yergin writes 86% of oil reserves in the United States are the result not of what is estimated at time of discovery, but of the res- re- revisions that come when our technology improves. That's what happened as a fracking took off in 2008 in the United States alone. Production went from roughly, rightly, roughly 5 million barrels per day in 2008 to 13 million by 2019. World oil production is now over 100 million barrels per day, some 20% above what Brown assumed was the high mark. To a pessimist extrapolating oil trends in 2008, of course, things looked bad to realists, realists who understood that necessity is the mother of all inventions. Inventions, invention. It was for it was far less scary assuming that something usually will stay. Usually is an easy forecast to make, and it's persuasive because it doesn't require imaging the world changing, but problems correct, and people adapt. Threats incentives solutions in equal magnitude. That's a common plot of economic history that is too easily forgotten by pessimists who forecast in straight lines. Tired is that progress happens too slowly to not notice, but setbacks happen too quickly to ignore. There are lots of overnight tragedies. There are rarely overnight miracles. On January 5th, 1889, the Detroit, Free Press pushed on back against the long-held dream that men called cloud called one day fly like a bird. Air, air, Aeroplane, the paper wrote, appear impossible. The smallest possible weight of flying machines with the necessary fuel and engineer could not be less than 13,000 or 14,000 pounds, but there is a low limit of weight, certainly not much beyond beyond 50 pounds, beyond which it is impossible for an animal to fly. Nature has reached this limit, and with her utmost effort has failed to pass it. 6 months later, over over Orville Wraith drop out of high school to help his brother with Wilbur Thinker in their backyard shed to build a printing press. It was the brothers' first joint invention. It would not their last. If you had to make a list of the most important inventions of the 20th current century, the aeroplane would be at least top 5, if not not number 1. The aeroplane changed everything. It started world wars. It ended world wars. It content connected the world, breeding gaps between cities and rural communities, ocean and countries. But the story of the Wright brothers quest to build the first plane has a facing, facing fascinating twist. After they conquered flight, no one seemed to notice. Nobody seemed to care. In his 1952 book on American history, Frederick Lewis Allen wrote, several years went by before the public grasped what the Wrights were doing. People were so convinced that flying was impossible that most of those who saw them flying about Dayton in 95 decided that what they had seen must be some trick without scientifications. Some what as most people today would regret. A demonstration of say telepathy. It was not until May 98, nearly 4.5 years after the Wrights' first flight, that experienced reporters were sent to observe what they were doing. Experienced editor gave full credence to these reports. Excited dispatches and the world at last woke up to the fact that human flight had been successfully accomplished even after people caught on to the plan's wonder they underestimated in for it for years. First, it was seen mainly as a military weapon, then a rich person's toy, then trips used to transport a few people. The Washington Post wrote in 1999, there will never be such a thing as a commercial aerial freighters. Freights will continue to drag its slow weight across the prescient Earth. The first cargo plane took off 5 months later. Now compare that slow years long awakening to becoming optimistic about the aeroplane, to how quickly people pay attention to driver of pessimism, like a corporate bankruptcy or a major war or a plane crash. Some of the first mention of the Wright's plan came in 1908 when an army lieutenant named Thomas Selfrid was killed during a demonstration. Flight growth is driven by compounding, which always take time. Destruction is driven by single point of failure, which can happen in second, and loss of confidence, which can happen in a instant. It's easier to create a narrative around pessimism because the story pieces tend to be fresher and more recent. Optimistic narratives require looking at a long stretch of history and development, which people tend to forget and take more effort to pieces together. Consider to progress of medicine. Looking at the last year will do you like good. Any single decade won't do won't do much better, but looking at the last 50 years will show something extraordinary. For example, the age adjusted death rate per capita from heart disease has declined more than 17% since 1965, according to the National Institute of Health. A 70% decline in heart disease death is enough to save something like half a million American lives per year. Picture the pollution of Atlanta save every year, but since that progress happens so slowly, it captures less attention that quite sudden loss like terrorism, plant crashes, or natural distress. So we could have hurricanes, Katrina, 5 times a week, every week. Imagine how much attention that would receive, and it would not offset the number of annual lives saved by the decline in heart disease in the last 15 years. This same thing applies to business where it takes years to realize how important a product or a company is, but failure can happen overnight overnight. And in stock market, where a 14 percentage decline that take place in 6 months will draw congressional investing, but 114 percentage gain that takes place over 6 years can go virtually unnoticed. And in careers when where a reputation take a lifetime to build, and a single email to destroy the short sting of pessimism prevails, while the powerful pull of optimism goes unnoticed. This scores an important point made previously in this book. Investing, you must identify the price of success, volatility, and loss amid the long backdrop of growth, and be willing to pay it. In 2004, the New York Times interviewed Temp Hawking, the scientist, scientist, scientists whose incurable motor neuron disease left him paralyzed and unable to talk age 21 through his computer. How Hawking told the interviewer how excited he was to sell books to lay people. Are you always this cheerful? The Times asked. My expansion were reduced to zero when I was 21. Everything since then has been a bounce, he replied, expecting a thing to be great means a best case is scenario that feel flat. Pessimism reduce expectations, narrowing the gap between possible outcome and outcomes you feel great about. Maybe that's why it's so seductive. sed- Seductive. Expecting things to be bad is the best way to be play pleasantly surprised when they're not, which iron ironically is something to be optimistic about. Now, a short story about stories. Next, next, next chapter. When you'll believe anything, applying for fiction, fictions, and why stories are more powerful than statistics. Imagine an airline dispatched to Earth. His job is to keep tabs on our economy. He he circles above New York City, trying to size up the economic and how it changed between 2007 and 2009. On New Year's Eve 2007, he hovers over Times Square. He sees tens of thousands of happy partygoers surrounded by bright lights, monstrous billboards, fireworks, and TV cameras. He come back to Times Square on New Year's Eve 2009. He sees tens of thousands of happy partygoers surrounded by bright lights, monstrous billboard, fireworks, and TV cameras. It looks about the same. He cannot see much difference. He sees roughly the same number of New York's hustling around the city. Those people are surrounded by the same number of office buildings, which house the same number of desks, with the same number of computers hooked up to the same number of internet connections. Outside the city, sees the same number of factories and warehouses concatenated by the same highways, carrying the same number of trucks. trucks. He get a closer, little closer to the ground and sees the same universities teaching the same topic and handing out the same degrees to take to the same numbers of people. He sees the same number of people patents protecting the same groundbreaking ideas. He noticed that technology has improved everyone in 2009. Uh, Curry's smartphones that didn't exist in 2007. Computers are now faster medicine in better cars, get better gas mileage, solar and fracking technology has advanced. Social media has grown exponentially as he files around the country. He sees the same around the global, more of the same. The economy is in about the same shape. maybe even better in 2009 as it was in 2007, he concludes. Then he looks at the numbers. He is shocked that US households are 16 trillion poorer in 2009 than they were in 2007. He is dumb, dumbfounded that 10 million more Americans are unemployed. He is in disable life when he learns the stock market is worth half of what it was 2 years before. He can't believe that people's forecast of their economic potential is plunged. I don't get it, he says. I've seen the cities I've looked at, he factories. You guys have the same knowledge, the same tools, that same ideas. Nothing has changed. Why are you poorer? Why are you more pessimistic? There was one change of the align code cloud at sea between 2007 and 2009. The stories we told ours, ourselves about the economy in 2007, we told a story about the